So who am I? First of all, I am loved. I am loved by God. I am a daughter of God, and I value that first and foremost. But beyond that, I am loved as a wife and as a mother, as a daughter, as a friend, as an aunt. All these beautiful roles that God is allowing me to play, and I pray that I get to play better as I live. And so I'm loved. Secondly, I am a minister. And so for me, that means in church, I get to preach and teach and pray and be there for people in their time of need and encourage. But also, for me, the word minister simply means to serve. And so outside of a church setting, in my career, I work in nonprofits. And so I've been able to work for years doing some pretty cool programming in communities, offering educational programs to marginalized groups, whether it's kids or veterans or low income seniors. And so I am thankful for that work I get to do in the community, in my profession. And thirdly, I am a writer. I have been writing since I was a kid. It started with a love of poetry that allowed me to express myself, that grew and helped me throughout my entire life, and poetry and articles and sermons and now books. And so writing has meant the world to me, and expressing myself when I couldn't express myself in other ways. Being loved, being a minister and a servant, and being a writer, I think kind of created the perfect storm for all of my books, but especially this book, Journey to Easier and Lighter, because it deals with some of the hardest moments of my life, dealing with issues of trauma and how my faith worked in that healing process, and how I believe that it can work in anyone's healing process. Just getting a language for how do we talk about suffering and talk about God and how God carries us and heals us and makes us whole through that process. And so I think Journey to Easier and Lighter is a pretty, not just telling my story. I don't think that's that important, but I think it's telling God's story in my story, and in seeing how God moves in the midst of trauma, in the midst of suffering. We can learn from one another the potential of God in real people's lives, and how scripture can come alive for people. And if God can do it for one person, then he can do it for any of us. And so, yeah, that's it. There's Journey to Easier and Lighter. Stay tuned for more. Peace.